I'd like to speak to all of you in the you form. In German, there's a polite form and a you form. She would like to use the more personal you form. And this is a wonderful chance that I have here to contribute. If I look back 1 year ago, I was in a certificate course of activity-based stress reduction, ABSR. And I thought, what is possible with this? When you can really be confident and trust your heart. And so I'd like to invite you with this to join me in this practice, to be active in this workshop. So welcome to learn about the 7 keys, to body work. My name is Verena, and there are many feelings, panic attacks, fear. Perhaps I'm being followed. I don't trust myself. I can't go outside. I feel as though somebody's using me. And working with this body work to get out of this panic feeling, today this is my successful way of working. So I'm going to go backwards so that you can see me better. When I was around the age of 20, I noticed that it was not easy being in my own body. I started doing Tai Chi and I learned to work with energy. And I learned to work with this energy in my hands, a sort of a tingling in my hands. And slowly I entered this. And I realized that I could follow what was happening in my body. And I could learn. I could learn a new experience, because my first experience had been that the body is dangerous. Today, I would like to invite you that together we will learn about mindfully working with the body. What do I have to look at? What do I have to do to stay with myself? And in part, to become comfortable with this. To start in my heart. In the heart, life starts. And to as much as possible, to enter into one's heart. I would like to say, if there is a moment for you, if it's too much, and you say, gosh, there's a bit too much going on here, take care of yourself. You can stop at any moment. You can take a glass of water. You can step away from the screen. So this is the invitation to you to feel into how much I can cope with. Great. So we'll start. So I was busy telling you that from Tai Chi, for days and for weeks, we just learned about the energy flow, this breathing quality of Qi, to be moved by the Qi. And that is what I can find in the eurythmy with Theodore. I'm not a eurythmist. I'm a coach and a trainer. And as I say, I discovered my inner eurythmus to a certain extent. And I found these streams, and I thought, I know about these. So let's see how I can help you today. So our first task, from your heart, let your arms open wide, and everything that belongs to me comes to me. Everything that belongs to my being comes back home, comes to me. Carefully, mindfully, and pause for a moment, completely with myself. Feel your feet and try with the inner eye. How far is it from the earth to my heart? And try and get an idea of what this means. And then with the next breath, let your hands flow down throughout your whole body, to your legs, to your feet, to the soles of your feet, your hands flowing downwards. Stay with your own self. And if you're sitting, that's fine. Feel your feet on the floor. I notice my breath changing. My breath becomes more relaxed. Notice these moments. That is what we do with our body in body work. And the gesture I'd like to do with you, it starts from our heart, and it's ah, the movement of the sound ah. So opening your arms, streaming outwards, and the world flows in towards me. And for more or less the next half hour, I will be describing the 7 different keys. So we know this. We know the ah moves out towards the front, so that you know it's going to be ah. And you can stay with yourself. Have your hands at heart height, and feel how one hand is on top of the other. How you can feel the back of your hand held by one hand. Take your time. Feel the connection, feel the touch streaming from our hearts in a V shape. Experience how slow it is. Doing it wonderfully slowly. When you get to the front, slowly going back. Return to your heart. Feel how it feels holding your hands on your heart, or if you want to, let your hands fall downwards. You can choose. We'll do this again together. slowly. We're practicing slowness. How slow can I do this? Feeling yourself in the gesture of ah. You're breathing in a completely natural way. Feel yourself, feel a few moments, sensing yourself, reflecting on the resonance. If you want to sit down, do you have rest? Do you have movement? Put your hands on your heart. Feel the slowness. Become conscious of the slowness. Allow the breath to unfold. Breathe in this slowness. And every cell is full of this slowness. Breathing in and breathing out. Slowness. Feeling your feet. And now to the second key. We do the same movement. And now we're moving from the heart. And we are conscious of our hands. So now we can look at our hands to be conscious of them. We notice that they're going out into space. Notice this movement. See how the hands come back to the heart and how the movement comes back to you. Looking at the movement, observing the movement. We'll do this again. I'm going to look at my hands. I'm looking at my hands. See how they're streaming outwards. Try to notice how my elbows are now straighter. Before they were bent. Now they are straight. And now I've got straight arms. I'm moving my head quite a lot to really see. And then I let my hands come back to my heart. And then I feel the after effects resonate. If I want to sit down, that's fine. Or I can stay standing. If you want to close your eyes for a moment, that's fine. And now let this observing resonate. And perhaps you notice how your breath is different. For me, this is a moment where space comes into being. Something spreads in me, something opens in me. Something in my being opens. Myself. I notice I have width. And now we'll go to the third key point. And it's about breathing. The movement is the same. And during this, we notice what happens to our breathing. How we're breathing in, how we're breathing out. Is the breath flowing? Is it pulsing? Coming back to our heart. Feeling, reflecting, how is the breath? There is so much to experience. Now I'm just going to stream with one right arm and experience the breath. How is it when I just move my right arm? And now with the second arm, with my left arm. And how is the breathing then? Hold this for a moment and breathing. Breathe. And then coming back to oneself completely. If you need to let your arms hang down, that's fine. If you want to move your shoulders, free them up. And let the breath in you become large. If you need to close your eyes, that's fine. If you're sitting down, that's fine. And note, how is my breath now? How is the breathing in? How is the breathing out? And now we'll go to the next key, and that is, as a small preparation, putting the hands together in front of the heart and feel the surfaces of the hands, and especially the thumbs. Feel how they touch and the warmth. And then look at the surfaces of the hands. If you want to rub the surfaces of the hands, to experience warmth, to sensitize yourself to warmth. And when you're completely warmed through, lay your hands on your heart, feel the warmth of your heart. And so we try and imagine how your heart is streaming warmth into your hands. And your hands that are your own, the hands that work with you, that take care of you. And now we want the warmth of this opening towards our surroundings, towards the people around us. And try to feel the connection. Feel the points in the center of your palms. So you have a triangle with this line between your palms and towards your heart, creates a triangle. And this warmth stream. And then coming back to yourself and feel the warmth, sense the warmth. And if anything here does not work completely, that's fine. Good. So now we'll do the next key point. So you need to imagine yourself how you're standing in space. It's the orientation. The orientation in space. If we have been traumatize and we go into a freeze. We lose our orientation in space. We become stiff, our nervous system, even our movement impulses are frozen. The whole of the back of our neck, we can have problems there. And in the last few years, people have noticed this more and more. And we need to orient ourselves. And we can actually look from left to right and from right to left. We really can see, I am okay. Look and see where the walls are. So move around. I can't move too much because I have to keep looking towards you, but you can look around the whole room. Observe the room. I am safe. I'm okay. I can do my inner work. And if we connect this to the gesture of A, of R, and we imagine there's a wall behind me and this angle that I'm making with the arms, I come back to myself again. With me, the breath reacts relieved, and there's heat coming up, especially through the left leg, and becoming very hot. And now we're going to do it again. I'm going to look around. Feel your own body. Feel how your head is carried by your spine. I can turn myself, I can move my body. I can move. And now we're going to connect all of this with a gesture of R, moving into the space. And we're going to imagine this angle. And you're going to build up a relationship to our environment. And streaming back towards the heart. And feeling the resonance. And just have a few moments for yourself. So holding your hands at your heart or letting your hands hang by your sides, relaxed. And now the seventh key point. It's about the streams. That was for me a real aha moment. That there is flow, current, streams, and counter streams. And when I did this ABSR course, one of the key points for me that touched me very deeply, that I could almost cry. I was so deeply touched. It's not that something is streaming towards me, but trauma of sensitive people in body work can be overwhelmed And yet I can hold myself opposite this. So realizing this, there's a stream going out. And if I allow this counter stream, then over here it opens. And that's where the forces come into being. Because I can hold this. And I can hold this because something flows from me out into the world. And I let the stream through me, through the whole of me. And I stay in my uprightness. And this was a true key experience for me. And previously, I was not actually ready to take up eurythmy. And I experienced it so strongly. I worked. And we need a certain resistance. We need something to meet. We need a force to meet these streams within us, the resistance that lives within our physical body. And I can meet the eurythmy, can allow myself and to have a counter stream happening at the same time. So something is flowing out with the ah. And then about halfway through, I start feeling the counter stream flowing. And I thought, gosh, what is this? A counter stream? And then I came back a little bit. And then I went back a little bit and then went forward a little bit. And that's how I came to notice that there is an inner resistance in a very sure way. And I did this very carefully. And this took place much more strongly. And I thought that this counter stream is not something to knock me over, but it is something that helps me, that brings me to myself. When you're finished, let yourself breathe down into your feet. Feel all the jingling, all the tingling within yourself. I am there. I am here. We can do it together now. Feel yourself streaming out as far as it is comfortable for you. If you start feeling the counter stream, that's okay. Let it flow. And there you are in your inner power, feeling the stream and the counter stream. And now it is good. Come back to yourself and let it resonate, let it reverberate. Notice your breathing. If you'd like to sit down, that's fine. So what I'd like, if you have now sat down and you are carefully in contact with yourself, that we would now have time for questions. anything that you might not have understood. Everything that you've experienced. Feel your breath. And try inwardly to ask yourself, to see yourself, to ask yourself, how am I? And feel your own, feel your own body, feel your hands folded over your heart, or maybe your hands are on your thighs. Feel the weight of how you're sitting on a chair or on a stool. Feel part of the chair. And see, where do you feel comfortable in your own body? Where do you have experiences in your body? Where is it wide? That is the seventh key. The positive experiences. The positive experiences during the work. To look for these in the body. Perhaps in your face. In your feet, maybe. And at this moment, I'd like to thank you for our work together, and that you allowed yourself to join in, and that you did this along with us, with me. And I'm very happy if those who would like to, if you have any feedback about what we've just done, that I could maybe help you. So my name is Marietta. I come from Flensburg, and the first exercise I found a bit difficult. So I can't see her, but she's talking about the fact that the people in the earthquake are in a particular state. Perhaps they're nervous. So she's referring to the first exercise where we took everything into us. So I'm trying to enter into your space. And to feel the pain of what is living in the people in Turkey who've undergone this earthquake. And when I am near in the body or near in my heart, then it's my heart. I would start in a completely different place. I would start with the hands. I would feel the hands. Just gently feel the hands. Feel the palms of the hands. Feel the warmth of the hands. Or if you want to put your hands onto your body, maybe that's a better way. So Marietta is recommending that we would touch someone else to experience their warmth. So Marietta is able to work with people physically, so she can work with people touching, letting their hands touch one another. So that people are not just looking at their mobile phones, cell phones, but that they are actually experiencing touch, human touch. I would work just with the body, touching one another. Speaking in a circle, maybe you could hold one another. Maybe you can touch back to back, sitting down, feeling somebody else's back against my back. Staying with oneself. And she's asking about the slowness. I can't do something when it's so slow. I become panicky. I can't cope with it. I just couldn't cope with it. So I need to pick up the people where they're at and take them along into slowness. Some people just cannot cope with slowness. This is something that I couldn't cope with. And so it's very important that you've just brought this point, because what helped me in the beginning, that I did Tai Chi for a long time. I did Tai Chi for a long time, moving. And I made this finer and finer, even in space, walking in a very careful, mindful way. And in this way, you have freedom. So it's very important, as you say, to notice what the other person needs. And I've shared with you something that about me, where I have come from a place where I did a lot more movement than just eurythmy, Tai Chi and so on. So our perception, our mindfulness is everything. So you can be very dynamic. So courage to you for finding your path with these people. Vary the tempo as needed. Thank you very much. That we must notice, that we can observe, where am I working? How am I working? And what have I brought? This is just what we need when working with trauma. And some of us have trauma that lies many, many years back, many decades back. And if we try and see what Myrte has done, Myrte also made people laugh. She didn't say that was part of it, but you could see that that was what was happening. And that is opening a new space of laughter where wonder is able to enter in. And you can see things from two different sides and how they meet. And it seems as though they don't match, but they do match. They belong together. Thank you, Marietta, for your question. Now I will read a few of the questions. So can you mention the 7 key points? Please just mention them. This is something that I've worked with my own observation when I was working through my own trauma, and what worked for me, that I would stay by myself, working first of all with slowness, then observing phenomena, of breathing, noticing my breathing, the warmth, focusing on the warmth, all positive perceptions, for instance, the body scan, streaming and the counter stream, orientation in space is the one she's looking for. Orientation in space is what she's looking for, but she can't hear me. So I don't have to focus on stream and counter stream, but with a gesture of R, it is very easy to do that. So everything is held within everything. And we need to choose which keys we need, which key points we need. If I notice that my breathing is very flat, which exercise would you do for that? So I would say, congratulations that you realized your breathing was very flat. If you're completely blocked and you don't even notice that, that's very typical of trauma. Perceive, that's step number 1. Perceive where you are and how it is for you. And in the moment that you are able to perceive this, stay in that focus and let this breath become deeper and deeper, larger. Stay with your focused attention on your breath. Perceive, observe. So what you showed us with the arms, can't we do this with the legs? I don't have a camera that's big enough. And I didn't want movements to take away from the focus, because today slowness, of course you can do it with your legs. You can do arms and legs. You can do them one after another. Once the arms, once the legs. You can do all sorts of variations with arms and legs. But in order to focus on the qualities that we've done today, I just chose the arms. And that's why I left the legs out. But thank you, the question is very relevant. Maria said the certificate that you mentioned. This is a certificate to ABSR coach. Eurythmy for You offers this certificate in ABSR, activity-based stress reduction. Theodore's just saying what I've said now, activity-based stress reduction. And it has the 7 qualities. And that you can use this in our questions. And Verena entered into this in such a strong way, using all her experience. And in autumn, there's a course with another colleague. She and I will be leading this course. And you have found that people with trauma can manage with this course very well. And now Babs has a question. What about dissociation? I had a bit of difficulty understanding the question, because it seemed that Babs said, when there is danger, you feel good. When there's no danger, you don't feel good. I don't quite understand if that was the true question. Verena is now trying to feel into her own experience of this. I've not studied psychology. What helps me is that I've heard about this, and then consciously I need to work with it, because this is a skill that we have. Even if I don't feel comfortable, I know that there is somewhere a register that understands what it means to feel good. Through breath, through movement, connecting myself to the earth. When I allow this within myself, and in me are parts where I can say I do feel comfortable. I do have positive experiences, and we can always find these places. And it's very good to be able to be aware of these places, so that when you are not feeling okay, you can still find the comfortable places within yourself. And how do you work with this? This is individual. It's up to you. And then once I've found the positive, when you've worked with yourself, connecting yourself with your breath, widening yourself, how does my breath react? How does my body react? Where am I safe? Where am I not safe? And finding what is positive. So when you did the R, you always worked from the heart. The center of the body is a little bit deeper. And if you had your focus below the navel, the breath would become deeper. What can you say to these two centers? So I'm figuring this out within my body. In our pelvis, we can be well earthed and we can be carried, connected with our coccyx, with the lower chakras. And there are many teachings who work with this. And we have a lower center and we have a heart center. And they work together. In the eurythmy, I work with a heart center. And in the Eastern traditions, in Tai Chi, I know that we work with a dantian. And you build up this energy sphere. And you can let the energy flow from the lower center up to your heart and down again. Connect the two. And you can look from the heart out into the world. And you have this feeling of being together with socially with other people. And that is filled. And that I feel that in my heart. So it's not just working from the lower aspect, from the pelvis. I give gifts from my heart. And the heart is always connected with the hands in yoga. They are connected physically in this area. And when we move outwards, that is a heart happening. If I go down towards the earth, and if I can stand firmly in life, it becomes a picture. And try and stand in your own life And what I like to do, I do well. I like to do it. And that is this working together of both centers. It is always both. Verena, thank you heartily. How you've done your work with us, the work that you have done with us, and to give us these tools where each one realizes that maybe I can't do this. When to notice, when can I do this? And to observe myself in such a differentiated way. Thank you. Thank you warmly, what you've given to us, gifted us. Thank you, Theo. And thank you, each one of you who've been watching today, who've been inspired, who've written in the chats. And thank you for the team. Thank you to the translators. Thank you for this wonderful working together. Thank you. From my heart. To make life from the heart. And to help other people like us.